the skyway, I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. I roamed and rambled, I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond desert, while all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. Let's sing together, friends. This land is your land, yeah, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. One bright Sunday morning, in the shadow of the steeple by the relief office, oh, I saw the people. They stood there hungry, I stood there wondering if this land was made for you and me. There was a big high wall there, and it tried to stop me, and on that sign it said private property, but on the other side it didn't say nothing. That side was made for you and me. Let's try it again. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. The sun comes shining while I was strolling, the wheat fields waving and the dust clouds rolling. A voice was chanting as the fog was lifting. This land was made for you and me. Nobody living will ever stop me as I go walking my freedom highway. Nobody living will make me turn back. This land was made for you and me. One more time now. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Does anybody remember that beautiful chorus? Do you? Some of you do. I know how old you are. Let's try it together. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. When I was a young man, I'd never been kissed. I got to thinking over what I had missed. I got me a girl, I kissed her, and then, oh Lord, I kissed her again. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. I asked her to marry, to be my sweet wife. We could be so happy all of our lives. I begged and I pleaded like a natural man, and then, oh so did my wife. Working hand in hand, we made a good life. With corn in the fields and wheat in the bin, I was, oh Lord, father of twins. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Children numbered just about 4. They all had sweethearts knocking at the door. They all got married, they didn't hesitate. I was, oh Lord, grandfather of 8. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Thinking what happened a long time ago. Had a lot of kids, trouble and pain, but oh Lord, we'd do it again. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Oh, kisses sweeter than wine. Oh, kisses sweeter. Can everybody hear everything all right? Can you hear it in the back? Good. Thank you for having me over to the Bond County Historical Society. This is your annual gathering, is that right? Very nice. There should be pulled pork at every annual gathering. I got all kinds of songs for you tonight, and this next one I remember my grandma singing it when I was just a little boy. We were going to the grocery store one afternoon. Mom was driving the big station wagon and Grandma was in the passenger seat. And then my 3 brothers and I, we were all squeezed into the back seat of the station wagon. And once the car got moving to a certain rate of speed, my grandma turned half around in her seat and said, "Boys, it's time for a sing-along." And she knew the car was moving too fast for any of us to jump out the window and run. And so this is one of the songs she sang. It starts out kind of slow. And many, many years ago when I was 23, I was married to a widow who was pretty as could be. This widow had a grown-up daughter who had hair of red. My father fell in love with her, soon these two were wed. This made my dad my son-in-law and it changed my very life. 'Cause my daughter was my mother, for she was my father's wife. To complicate the matter, even though it brought me joy, I soon became the father of a bouncing baby boy. This little baby then became a brother-in-law to Dad, and so became my uncle, though it made me very sad. Oh, if he were my uncle, then it also made him brother of the widow's grown-up daughter, who, of course, is my stepmother. You can join right in, too. Father's wife then had a son, which kept him on the run. He became my grandchild, 'cause he was my daughter's son. My wife is now my mother's mother, and it makes me blue. For although she is my wife, she's my grandmother too. Now if my wife is my grandmother, then I'm her grandchild. Every time I think of it, it nearly drives me wild. Now I have become the strangest case you ever saw. As husband of my grandmother, I'm my own grandpa. I'm my own grandpa. the grocery store, and Grandma finishes her song, and my one brother was sitting right next to me, and he was kind of a grouchy little kid. And now he's a grouchy old man. But he asked Grandma, he said, "Grandma, where did you learn that song?" And whenever we asked where she learned the song, she gave the same answer. She turned and said, "I learned it from Elvis Presley." And then he asked her, he said, "Grandma, how do you remember all those words?" And she turns halfway around in her seat and says, "How do you know I did?" Well, I'm old enough now to remember when every November the Sears and Roebuck Christmas catalog would come in the mail, and my mom gave each of my brothers and I a different colored pen, and we were allowed to circle 3 toys in the catalog that we wanted Santa Claus to bring for Christmas morning. Of course, in about a week's time, we had half the catalog circled, but one year we each drew a colored ring around a photograph of a record player. It was a portable model about so big. A turntable on the top, a speaker in the front, and the lid flips open. There's another speaker on the lid that you could detach and set across the room. They used to call that hi-fi. And we thought it was pretty neat. And I asked my mom, I said, "Mom, do you think Santa Claus would really bring something like that for Christmas morning?" And she said, "Listen here, mister, here's what you do. You write your letter to Santa Claus, you put it in the mail, and you wait and you see what happens on Christmas morning." And that's what we did. And then the long wait began, and finally Christmas morning arrived, and there under the tree was a big box with all 4 of our names on the tag. And when the time finally came to open presents, we all raced into the front room, ripped away the ribbon and the paper, and there it was. Santa Claus had brought the identical model record player we had picked out of the Sears catalog. The funny thing is that Santa Claus also brought all of my mother's favorite records. Grandma and Grandpa lived right across the street from us, 3628 South Central Avenue. And Grandpa knew what to do. He always knew what to do. He raced home, and when he came back, he had a cardboard box in each arm. Each cardboard box contained a stack of these old, scratchy 78 records, and we spent all of Christmas morning listening to this old music that we had not heard before. Do you remember a guy named Frankie Lane? Oh, we love Frankie Lane's "My Heart Goes Where the Wild Goose Goes," right? And we heard Ella Fitzgerald, a great jazz singer, for the first time that Christmas. The grown-ups all seemed to like a guy named Spike Jones. But our very favorite was when we dropped the needle on a disc whose label read, "Sons of the Pioneers." These were real cowboys, we thought, singing about the Old West. I'll never, ever forget how it sounded. Underneath all those scratches, you hear the sons get their guitar and a good cowboy rhythm, and all at once they begin to sing in perfect harmony. I'm a roving cowboy, riding all night long. Tumbleweeds are tumbling, and they sing a lonely song. Nights underneath the prairie moon, I ride alone and sing a tune. See them tumbling down, pledging their love to the ground. Lonely but free I'll be found, drifting along with the tumble and tumbleweed. Cares of the past are behind, nowhere to go but I'll find just where the trail may wind, drifting along with the tumble and tumbleweed. I know when day is done, there's a new one born at dawn. song. Here on the trail I belong, drifting along with the tumble and tumble, drifting along with the tumble and tumble, drifting along with the tumble and tumble. I got interviewed for an article in the Chicago Tribune. This guy wrote a whole article, and he asked me how I got first interested in folk music, and I really didn't have an answer for him because I didn't even know there was a thing called folk music. There were just songs all over the place on the record players, and I'd hear my grandma singing, and we had these little rhymes that we'd sang at school on the playground, and it wasn't so the answer I gave him was something like this. I said, well, I heard this bluegrass band on the Andy Griffith show, and it got me right off the bat, which is a total lie. But I remember we heard this song on the Andy Griffith show. They had a little bluegrass band, and it goes like something like this. You get a line, I'll get a pole, honey. You get a line, I'll get a pole, babe. You get a line, I'll get a pole. We'll go down to the crawdad hole, honey, oh baby mine. You sing it too. You get a line, I'll get a pole, honey, honey. You get a line. Sack on his back, honey, sing it, honey, thank you. Yonder come a man with a sack on his back, babe. Yonder come a man with a sack on his back, he's got all the crawdads he can pack, honey, oh baby, sing it again. You get a line, I'll get a pole, honey. This is about the silliest song we'd ever heard. But when I look back on that time, I realized we didn't really know what a crawdad was. We grew up in the city. We knew what rats were, but we didn't know what a crawdad was. Well, a few years after that, I got interested in the guitar, and I spent a lot of time at a friend of mine's house. His older brother could really play, and he was always showing us little things on the guitar and playing records for us of people he thought we should become familiar with. First time I heard Woody Guthrie sing on a record was at that guy's house. He played the whole record through and he asked me what I thought. And I'd never heard Woody Guthrie sing, and I said to him, I said, well, he sounds like another Bob Dylan imitator to me. But here's what Woody sang. Pittsburgh town's a smoky old town, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh town's a smoky old town, Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh town's a smoky old town, all the way from the Keysport down in Pittsburgh. Lord God in Pittsburgh. All I do is cough and choke in Pittsburgh. All I do is cough and choke in Pittsburgh. Cough and choke from the iron filings and the sulfur smoke in Pittsburgh. Lord God in Pittsburgh. From the Allegheny to the Ohio in Pittsburgh. From the Allegheny to the Ohio in Pittsburgh. From the Allegheny to the Ohio. the CIO in Pittsburgh. Lord God in Pittsburgh. And Woody finished his song, and I thought, hey, wait a minute. That's the Crawdad Hole, but it's got different words. Sure enough, we looked up on the jacket of the album, the liner notes said indeed that Woody Guthrie had borrowed the melody from the Crawdad Hole to make the Pittsburgh song. Woody knew a good melody when he heard one. He also knew that the steel workers didn't care anything about crawdads either. They cared about wages and benefits and conditions, right? So that's what got me thinking about folk songs and how they change and are adapted to new circumstances, and they grow because they're needed. And so it got me wondering. I know where Woody got his idea for the Pittsburgh song. He got it from the Crawdad song. Now I wanted to know where the guy who made the Crawdad song got his idea, and this is what I found. Mama don't allow no guitar playing round here. Mama don't allow no guitar playing round here. We don't care what Mama don't allow. We're gonna play our guitar anyhow. Mama don't allow no guitar playing round here. Friends, I was still curious. I wanted to know where the guy who made Mama Don't Allow got his idea for the song. And I think I found the answer in old British and old English folk song. Grandpa used to sing it to my brothers and I when we were children. And it goes something like this. Mr. Froggy went a-courtin' and he did right, Mr. Froggy went a-courtin' and he did right, Mr. Froggy went a-courtin' and he did ride with a sword and a pistol by his side. He went up to Miss Mousie's door in Pittsburgh. He went up to Miss Mousie's door in Pittsburgh. Well, he didn't care what Mama don't allow. He got his Mousie anyhow. Honey, oh baby mine. Isn't that fun? So when I was in 7th grade, we had a unit in our 7th grade literature class on American poetry, and that's when I became acquainted with the poetry of Carl Sandburg in Illinois, and I was born in Galesburg, 1876, I believe. And he went to, it's now Knox College, we called it Lombard College in those days, and he never did graduate. He was a fireman, a butcher. He rode his bicycle all around the county selling, we used to call them viewmasters, but in those days you had the glasses and the new films on there. And he went to West Point and got kicked out. He joined the Army anyway and went to San Juan Hill. Didn't like it, so he didn't finish his term. And all the while, he said, I was wearing out pencils. He was writing, someone gave me some years ago a copy of the complete poems of Carl Sandburg. It's about that thick, and I put it in my duffel bag, and there it was for 18 years. And whenever I was traveling, I'd get it with my Carl and read away, and so I got to know and love his work very, very much. And one of the things I learned was that whenever he gave a poetry reading, he would always get out his guitar and sing a few folk songs. He believed the lyrics to folk songs were just filled with poetry and imagery that resonates within us. And for a fact, of all the songs he knew, he put them in a collection in 1927, the American Song Bag. And that was the first printed collection of American folk music made by Carl Sandburg. And by gosh, he was the first singer to describe himself as a folk singer. He didn't want anybody to be confused and to think that he was an actual singer. So he used the word folk singing. And here's a song now from the American Songbag, 1927. If it ain't gonna rain no more, now bake them biscuits good and brown. It ain't gonna rain no more. Swing your partner round and round. It ain't gonna rain no more. Sing it. It ain't gonna rain no more, no more. Ain't gonna rain no more. How in the heck can I wash my neck if it ain't gonna rain no sing the verse about bake them biscuits good and brown? So you're not paying attention either. Bake them biscuits good and brown. It ain't gonna rain no more. Swing your partner round and round. It ain't gonna rain no more. We had a cat down on the farm. She played with a ball of yarn. And when them little cats was born, they all had sweaters on. Oh, it ain't gonna rain no more. Ain't gonna rain no more. How in the heck can I wash my neck if it ain't gonna rain no more? She lived down by the sewer. It was by the sewer she died. And at the coroner's inquest they called it suicide. Oh, it ain't gonna rain no more, no more. Ain't gonna rain no more. How in the heck can I wash my neck if it ain't gonna rain no more? I went to see the gypsy at the fortune-telling place. She took my palm and read my mind, and then she slapped my face. Oh, it ain't gonna rain no more, no more. Ain't gonna rain no more. How in the heck can I wash my neck if it ain't gonna rain no more? Picking on the banjo strings, sitting in the shade, counting all the money that I ain't never made. Oh, it ain't gonna rain no more, no more. Ain't gonna rain no more. How in the heck can I wash my neck if it ain't gonna rain no more? They don't write them like that no more. Well, here's a couple of few banjo polka tunes for you. The kind of thing that in the old days might have been played with a fiddle and a banjo together. And maybe a few of us would just have a square dance right in the kitchen. Because there was nothing on television that night. This first one's called The Flop-Eared Mule. Swing your partner round and round. song in America in the year 1907. That was back in the days when hit songs were measured by how many pieces of sheet music were sold. So there was an awful lot of pianos in parlors and living rooms across the country where someone was sitting at that piano and plunking out this melody. Let's see if you can recall it, maybe you've heard it somewhere. That's a thing called My Pretty Little Red Wing. The first time I heard it, it was called the Union Maid. Woody Guthrie had composed the famous Union Maid verses to this very melody. Here it is again. Here's one now. I had to go all the way to Ireland to learn this tune. I got to go to Ireland some years ago with a buddy of mine, and we toured around the entire little island. We spent 17 days in Ireland, and we also spent an inordinate amount of time in these places they have over there called pubs. That's where the music happens, right? And we were in the beautiful city of Galway, way out in the west, and we found this little pub. They had a sign in the window, session here tonight, and that meant a music session, and the tradition is that just about anybody can join the circle. So we went in, and it was a very, very small place. There was the guy behind the counter over there, and at the center table there was just three gents seated there. Two played fiddle, one played guitar, and as it turns out, two of these guys were from Skokie, Illinois, and the other was from Lake Bluff. This is a tune I had to go all the way to Ireland to learn. You can play your banjo all night long. We've been waiting all your life just to hear you play your song. Reuben, you can play your banjo all night long, and we'll be sitting around the fire just in case we can play along. When I was just 16, I had a little dream about playing on my daddy's banjo. Oh, when I picked it up and it made a sound, I found I couldn't let the darn thing go. You know it felt so good, I knew that I could play to let the music flow. Oh, I would hit those strings just to hear them ring when I played my old banjo. Reuben, you can play your banjo all night long. We've been waiting all your life just to hear you play your song. You know it felt so good, I knew that I could play to let my feelings show. Like my very best friend, staying right till the end to help me when things got slow. It was so hard to put it down, I want to make a brand new sound and take it to my friends to show. Oh, I would play so clear, so they would surely hear me play my old banjo. Ruben, you can play your banjo all night long. We've been waiting all your life just to hear you play your song. Ruben, you can play your banjo all night long. And we'll be sitting around the fire just in case you can play, just in case you can sing, just in case you can play along. Banjo players divide themselves much like politicians. And a more common way of playing the banjo is with 3 fingers. If you remember the Beverly Hillbillies theme, that was the great Earl Scruggs doing a 3-finger picking. And my style is more of a folk style, an old-time style. They call it, a down strum is called frailing the banjo or clawhammer. And but now it's kind of evolved into its own style where I go down and I go up, and sometimes I pick with my finger picks. I'll try to pick one for you. And this, as I understand, was composed by a hillbilly from New York City. A long time ago, his name was Irving Berlin. Maybe you can help me remember this. Blue sky smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Bluebird singing a song, nothing but blue skies from now on. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by when you're in love, my how they fly like blue days. All of them gone, nothing but blue skies from now. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw
sing. There's a story about this song. I don't remember it. Grandma used to say it's a song from back in the days when tunes were in fashion. Be sure it's true when you say, I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. Millions of hearts have been broken just because those words were spoken. I love you, yes I do. I love you. And if you break my heart, I'll die. I'll be sure that it's true when you say that I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. I crossed my heart, I hope to die. I'll never, never tell another little white lie. Took out on a date last night next to her. Grab a Gertie would have looked alright. Well, I'm between the devil and the deep blue sea. I said, hey sugar, you look good to me. I told her that I loved her, but oh, how I lied. Now she wants to be my blushing bride if she leads me to the altar. Well, I'm sunk because I can't tell that old preacher I was drunk. Lord, have mercy on a no good sinner. Give me one more chance to let another guy win. Cross my heart and hope to die. I'll never, never tell another little white lie. It's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. Millions of hearts have been broken just because those words were spoken. I love you, yes I do. I love you. And if you break my heart, I'll never ever tell another little white lie. It's a sin to tell a lie. I got to meet Pete Seeger a few times and was lucky enough to sing with him. And he came to Chicago in 2002, and he taught me this song. It was after the concert. I asked him if there'd be... He sang this on his part of the concert, and I asked him if there'd be time after the show if we could go back and he could show me the chords and I could get started on it. And you know what he said? Of course. That's how generous he was with his time. Of course, his wife, Toshi, was Peter, 10 minutes ago. But he was nice enough to show me this tune. And it was the most interesting music lesson I've ever had. He arranged two chairs facing each other pretty close, and he never explained anything. He never said a word. He just got his guitar, and he played me the melody so I could hear it. He always believes if you learn the melody first, the words come with the melody. And the melody goes something like this. my regular guitar, and I was just trying to keep up with Pete, and then he started singing the chorus. I think that this whole world soon, Mama, my whole wide world soon, Mama, my whole world soon, we're gonna be getting mixed up. Soon, we're gonna be getting mixed up. I asked him, I said, Pete, what in the world does that mean? He just shrugged his shoulders and sang the first verse. You know this language that we speak is part German and Latin and part Greek, Celtic and Arabic, all in the heap. Changed around by us folks in the street. Choctaw gave us the word okay. Vamoose is a word from down in Mexico way. All of this is a hint, I suspect, of what comes next. And I think that this whole world soon, Mama, my whole wide world soon, Mama, my whole world soon, we're gonna be getting mixed up. Soon, we're gonna be getting mixed up. Our language is mixed up. How about our food? I like Polish sausage, I like Spanish rice, and pizza pie is also nice. Corn and beans from the Indians here, coffee beans from the Turkish there. Marco Polo traveled by camel and pony, brought home to Italy the first macaroni. You and I, as well as we're able, we put it all on the table. Oh, I think that this whole world soon, Mama, my whole wide world soon, Mama, my whole world soon, we're gonna be getting mixed up. Soon, we're gonna be getting Our food is mixed up, our language is mixed up. How about our people? There were no red-headed Irishmen before the Vikings landed in Ireland. How many Romans had curly black hair before they brought slaves from Africa? No race on earth is completely pure, nor is anyone's mind. That's for sure. The winds mix the dust of every land. So oh, I think that this whole world soon, Mama, my whole wide world soon, Mama, my whole world soon, we're gonna be getting mixed up. Soon, we're gonna be getting mixed up. There it is. All mixed up. Maybe some of you can tell this guitar is tuned much lower than my other one, and I asked Pete about the first time he heard a 12-string guitar tuned so low and played in that style, and he told a long story about a great American artist, a songwriter, a singer. His name was, he had a funny name, Beauty Ledbetter, but everybody knew him as Lead Belly, the king of the 12-string guitar. And Lead Belly had a hard life. He spent 14 and a half years in work farms down in the South. He was convicted of manslaughter twice, and twice given a life sentence, and twice he got out early. And the second time he came to New York City under the guidance of a guy named John Lomax, who was a folk song collector. And Hudie and his wife, Martha, they toured around different places and played at colleges and universities, telling stories about the Deep South and playing all kinds of examples of American folk music. In fact, he composed this song. I went down to visit his grave. I found his grave outside Shreveport, Louisiana, a little town called Mooringsport. And there he's buried. And I went to the library in Shreveport to see what I could find about Lead Belly. And the woman in the newspaper gave me, took me to the, in those days they had microfilms, and you put it in a little projector and turn it. And anyway, but I found this neat article about a woman who had passed away, 89 years old. Her name was Irene Ledbetter. It was Hughie's cousin, third cousin. And that was the Irene in the song, Irene Goodnight. And it turns out when he knew her and was sweet on her, she was just 16 and he was already 23, had fathered a child. And her mama said, you get him over here and you tell him you're never going to see him again. So that's what they did. And she invited him over, and he put on his best overalls and a hat. He came to see her. She lived in the city. And she answered the door and she said, what do you come to see me for wearing overalls? He didn't want to lie to her exactly, but he did want to try to impress her. He said, well, sometimes I live in the country and sometimes I live in town. Right now I'm living in the country. That's why I got my overalls on. If I was living in the city, I'd be wearing a very fine suit. Just the same, she broke up with him that day, and he wrote it all down and sang this as his theme song. He sang it the rest of his life. 6 months after Leadbelly died in 1949, the song went on to be a #1 hit in the nation. Beauty never gained the fame or fortune. It might have been his anyway. Listen to this verse. Sometimes I live in the country. Sometimes I live in town. Sometimes I take a great notion to jump in the river and drown. Now we sing. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. Oh, I asked your mother for you. She told me you were much too young. How I wish I'd never seen your face. I'm sorry you ever were born. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. Here's what her mother said. Stop your rambling. Stop your gambling. Stop staying out late at night. Go home to your wife and your family. Stay there by the fireside bright. Sing it again. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. Oh, you caused me to weep. You caused me to mourn. You caused me to leave my home. But the very last word I heard her say, please sing me one more song. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Well, we got time for one more? Oh, okay. Thanks for having me over. It's fun. And good luck with your coming new year and your projects. If you'd like to get on my mailing list, you can fill out a piece of paper over there, put it right in the Woody Guthrie cup. And if you'd like to take some music home, there's CDs over there if you still have a CD player. Anyway, thank you again. It's been a pleasure. like singing with an old friend, a song we've known since way back when. The good times and the hard times, my old friend, we've come too far to ever turn back again. And here's to you and me and what might have been. Here's to guys like us, old friends. Old friends are the best friends, old friends. And there's nothing like picking with an old friend. A good guitar and a tune to make us grin. On the back porch at Granny's, my old friend, how I wish our time together would never end. And here's to you and me and what might have been. Here's to guys like us, old friends. Old friends are the best friends, old friends. And there's nothing like being with an old friend, just to pass in time together now and then. Saying nothing says something to an old friend. It's been so good to be with you again. And here's to you and me and what might have been. Here's to folks like us, old friends. Old friends are the best friends, old friends. Here's to you and me and what might have been. Here's to songs like ours, they never end. Old friends are the best friends.